Timo Werner.
Well, I think we were slipping under Abramovich anyway. Nobody wants to talk about it. We were a cup team. If you're not going to spend money on real top quality ready-made players, Osimhen, Toney, that type of calibre that can come in and perform straight away, then I am going to start having a problem with them.
If the take is for Gallagher is going to be a mainstay of Chelsea's future, it's not for me.
I'm Will Pugh.
And I'm Izzy Barker, and this is SunSport's TapIn. We're all about the fans on the TapIn, so each episode we invite some very special guests to join us in the studio.
And with us this week is two Chelsea fans. They've got more than 200,000 YouTube subscribers, and if their channel is anything to go by, one of them is a firm friend of Blues billionaire owner Todd Boehly. It is Alex Harris and Charlie Patrick from Chelsea Fan TV.
Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex.
What do you want to say, Tom? Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. Goodbye.
Gentlemen, absolutely wonderful to have you with us on the TapIn. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 3. Question 1, how on earth did you manage to get Todd Boehly, net worth $6.1 billion US, to put his arm around you, look down the barrel of the camera and tell people, subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV?
I actually got him to do it 3 times.
I know.
And you wouldn't believe who was recording. It was Egg Barley who was recording the first video. So if you see my phone, obviously, I know you're not supposed to get the phones out, but my screen has a case. Egg Barley kept putting the case over the phone.
Listen, Charlie, Alex, it is great to have you with us. We are going to talk about Chelsea, your beloved Chelsea, a little bit later on. But this is our 3rd episode of the TapIn now, and you're involved in the comments, giving us big kudos on the guests we've had so far and the sort of chats we're having. And, you know, when this show got pitched in the first place, it's fair to say, Izzy, I was sort of really looking forward to baiting people a little bit and seeing fans of rival teams getting stuck into each other in the comments. But one thing I wasn't really expecting is that more people than I'd like to admit seem to have taken umbrage with some of my clothing choices and have just decided that the YouTube comments is the place to rip the hell out of my wardrobe.
I personally loved it. I spent hours scrolling through the comments.
Over Christmas?
Over Crimbo. Yeah, it was a great Crimbo present.
Everyone else spending time with their family, you're just like...
I really went to the lengths of actually picking out some of my favourites as well.
Thank
so
you.
First off, we've got that Will Pugh is wearing leggings. WTF. Also, why is he wearing ladies' yoga pants? He dresses like a 15-year-old. We've got that one. And last but not least, this interviewer is a sassy little girl.
Yeah, happy days. I would just like to point out, these are the baggiest jeans I own.
I got token female presenter, but I feel like I'll get that on
probably
usual. Yeah, it's just standard.
That's misogyny. Yeah, wonderful.
It is what it is. Usually at this point of the show, we will say something funny to our guests, a little jibe. With Arsenal, it was celebrating finishing 4th, like they'd won the Champions League. Then with Tottenham, it was celebrating actual defeats because they played this brave Ange ball.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you lose, does it?
Yeah, I mean,
if you lose.
With Chelsea, I feel like there's just so much chaos to choose from. So I just have a question for you guys. What the hell is going on with your football club?
I don't know where to start, really. We could start from a number of places. Yes, last year was horrendous, probably the worst year we've had. I mean, people will say, oh, like, you know, you weren't there in the 70s and 80s, but like this was the worst season for us ever last season, like 12th, losing every week. No idea what's going on, turnover from top to bottom of the football club. And yeah, it's been tough. We spent a lot of money that everyone likes to talk about that, beat us with that stick.
We spent a lot of money, like £1 billion.
yeah, but true.
It was on potential.
But but in defence though, like that 1 billion is obviously includes all the add-ons which might not be hit. I know this is going to sound like I'm defending. I'm defending the club here, but
it's only 990.
Yeah, exactly.
All the add-ons.
Plus, half these guys might even never play for the club. So if we're looking at
money well spent.
Yeah, money well spent. Though, looking in terms of the first team, we spent a lot of money. You know, the players. I don't want to say they're bad players, but they're not ready to perform at the level that's required. And I just think. I don't mind the owners, but I think they've basically made too many changes way too quickly.
Are you sort of willing to accept that for a couple of years it's not going to be particularly good? You're giving young players 7-8 year contracts sometimes. Are you sort of confident that, all right, it's not going to be great for the next season or 2, maybe even 3, but then in 4 or 5 years' time we're going to be back to the old Chelsea winning everything in sight?
Well, I think we were slipping under Abramovich anyway. Nobody wants to talk about it, but we were a cup team under Abramovich. We weren't, towards the end of his tenure, we weren't challenging for league titles. Since Conte won, we've basically just been a Champions League team picking up trophies, albeit there's been some pretty big ones in there.
Yeah.
All we win is the Champions League, isn't it? Yeah, that's all we win.
All Fulham have won is the Intertoto Cup. So please, cry me a river.
But like, I do actually have not sympathy with the owners, but I get what they're trying to do. We've spent so much money on youth, and now we know the problem is we need more experience. So I'm looking at January, I'm looking at the summer, and this is where I'm going to be looking at the owners and saying, listen, guys, if you're not going to spend money on real top quality, ready-made players, Osimhen, Toney, that type of calibre that can come in and perform straight away, then I am going to start having a problem with them.
Look, before we test exactly how biased you two are towards your beloved Chelsea a little bit later on, I want to chat to you about a couple more topical transfer stories that are going on at the moment. They're Chelsea linked, so you'll have a view on these, no doubt. First one, Timo Werner. It was a bit of a strange one for Chelsea. Chelsea fans couldn't really make their mind up. I'd just like to know, I assure you, I didn't pick this story just because my face is on the newspaper page, I promise. But Chelsea fans, he spent 2 years with you, decent first campaign, but it felt like you could never really make your mind up about him. He developed a bit of a reputation, Charlie, for missing as many goals as he scored, always being infuriatingly offside. And I speak to Blues fans even now, and they can't really decide whether they hated Timo Werner or they loved him.
Yeah, it was a weird one, like, because he got so much support from the fans. You know, he used to do the chant for him all the time. I mean,
What was the chant?
What was it?
Timo
Werner.
So much rhythm there.
We were doing that this season, Fulham away, when we won 2-0 earlier. When we won 2-0, away end. That was going for a good 5-10 minutes. But now that he's joined Tottenham, look, I'm not really that fussed. I mean, look, I supported him when he was here. He didn't do the business. He was well liked by the fans. He's going on loan to Tottenham. It's not like they're getting an amazing player and he's going to be unbelievable there.
He doesn't seem like he's really slandered the club massively.
No, he's not.
Either.
No, he hasn't.
I think there would be worse players to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those that is going to hate people for going to play for Tottenham. Like Mourinho went to manage there, and if people can get over that and not be bothered about it and still love him, and a lot of Chelsea fans would take him back for a third spell, then I think Timo Werner going to Tottenham is not really that big a deal. I mean, I don't think he's going to pull up any trees there. He said 2 years ago that your Champions League winning front three would be playing for Man United, Arsenal, and Tottenham in 2 years' time. Would have been like, what's going on here? But that's kind of what's worked out. And I don't think we regret any of it. We don't miss Havertz at all. We don't miss Mason Mount. We absolutely don't miss Timo Werner. I think we've upgraded in all those positions. So look, I'm not going to sit here and say I wish him all the best, because I don't really want him to do that well for Tottenham. But do you know what I mean? I don't care. I'm not losing any sleep over the fact that he's gone to Spurs. I think when Mount comes back with United, he's going to get. I mean, I personally won't do it, but he'll get hammered. But like Havertz, there was a smuttering of boos, but there was nothing, just because he's kind of just irrelevant, really. And we got 65 million quid for him, and Arsenal fans were saying, we should have paid you more. Well, if you want the account details, send us some more. Send us some more over for him. But we don't miss any of them. So look, how's Timo going to do? I've got no idea, but. Yeah, it's not something.
Sound like you care.
I don't care, mate. I'm really not bothered that he's gone.
Ivan Toney, the £100 million striker, the transfer, the man on everyone's lips at the moment. It does look like he is going to stay put in January. He sort of feels like he owes Thomas Frank and Brentford a debt after obviously serving that ban for breaching and betting charges by the FA. But obviously Chelsea are interested. How much would you like to have Ivan Toney come the summer? Because it seems like the top teams can't hit a cow's backside with a banjo at the minute.
Well, I've been having this debate with a few people, and they say, why would Toney come to Chelsea when you've got Arsenal and teams like that? But I really don't think the gap is that big. I don't think it's that big.
Declan Rice picked Arsenal over Chelsea, didn't he? He would any other season.
Caicedo over Rice. That's what happened. We picked Caicedo over Rice, and that will turn out in the long term to be the right decision, I think, because Caicedo, I think he just fits our model a little bit.
But anyways, sorry,
But Rice too old, 24, can't have him.
That's it. But no, I mean, to answer your question, I think in our circumstances, That gives me more reason to believe that he'd do well for us if he came, because if he can do it at Brentford, he can do it at Chelsea. We are a mid-table team at the moment.
Bit of West London shade. Yeah.
No, it's true. Like, I'm not going to shy away from it. We're well below par, but again, the gap's not that far. Like, we were just talking about Boehly and the players. It only takes a couple of players for everything to click. So Toney is that player that you say, why would you spend, 100 million on 15-year-old Brazilians when you could just buy a player who would get into the squad straight away? And he is an experienced Premier League player. He's strong. He's got an aerial threat. He can score a goal from outside the box. He's a penalty taker. And to be honest with you, a lot of those traits are what's worked for us in the past. I mean, we've had Higuain, we've had Morata, we've had all of these strikers that have just flopped. Yeah, Falcao.
Yeah. You've had a few stinkers.
Yeah, Alexandra Pato, Lukaku, the list goes on and on. Shevchenko, Torres, guys that have just not been that great.
It's basically anyone other than Drogba.
And Costa.
And Diego Costa as well. But you look at Toney and I just think, I've always said that we should be getting him. But I met him at Stamford Bridge. I think Chelsea Man City last season, he was there watching the game. But
I suppose
after you met the owners.
After met the owners. Tony,
He
was there with Reece James. Yeah, I got a picture of him afterwards. I said, I'll see you next season. I haven't seen him yet, but obviously didn't know he was going to get banned or anything. But I think he'd be perfect for us.
Right, let's focus on who's actually at your club. Your main man, Mauricio Pochettino. Raheem Sterling said when he was appointed in May that he was the man that you guys needed. Yeah. Obviously, you look at his time at Tottenham, never won anything with them. Obviously, probably came the closest of recent managers. But the fans still loved him. The players loved him. Got the best out of Kane and Son and players like that. But looking at him now, do you worry that he just isn't at that level where the likes of Pep are, Klopp are? He's just making, losing or failure a bit of an art form? Or on the flip side, is it a matter of time before he's going to be hoovering up trophies and we're going to see the best of him?
I think it's fair to say that he's not in the elite bracket of manager. He's not at that level of a Tuchel, a Guardiola, a Klopp, etc. I think that's fair to say. It's probably in that next bracket down. Pochettino, for me, I'll be honest, at the start, I wasn't that keen on it. When we started getting linked with him, I was like, I'm a bit unsure about this. I would have maybe preferred a Nagelsmann or someone like that. But now that he's come in, you hear how he speaks, you see kind of the work that he does. These players are getting better. I know it might not look like it in the table, but in terms of...
they're not actually winning any games or being good at football.
We've won 6 of our last 9, We're doing all right. In terms of the job he's doing, I think people massively underestimate how difficult this Chelsea job is.
Is he another person that you guys have met yet?
I haven't.
I've met him at a training ground, but
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, but I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Do you play for Chelsea?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we're doing a lot worse if I was playing.
Right, listen, gents. After the first couple of episodes of this show, it's fair to say we've had some constructive criticism. Would you say, Izzy, in the comments on YouTube? My comments about my clothes aside, but the title of this section in particular came in for a bit of a grilling. So for Arsenal, we had taken the mick or from the art, a little bit of a play on words on the manager's name. I must admit, it wasn't as good for Tottenham when we had imposter or super glue. Red Zepp on YouTube was particularly unimpressed and said, what the hell is super glue? Someone has been sniffing the glue. But for this episode, the senior creative team got involved, right? Over Christmas, no time with their family, nothing like that. Heads together to find, for this week, the Chelsea section, the good or bad section is what it is, an absolutely outstanding title. So after much hard work and soul searching among the team, I give you more, or tin pot.
Oh, God.
Do we have to say to tin pot every time?
I do have to say to tin pot, yeah. As you'll see,
it's going to be a long day.
More. Nice little play on the Mauricio Pochettino. Right, number 1. Chelsea have spent the equivalent of Equatorial Guinea's annual GDP on players since Todd Boehly arrived. And you're still only 10th in the Premier League. You failed to qualify for Europe last season. You're handing out 7 to 8 year contracts to players no one has ever heard of. And fans are left wondering whether his plan and recruitment policy is calculated or clueless. So what I want to know from you, the take is, no team has ever spent so much money so badly in the history of the Premier League. Do you want more takes like that, or is that tin pot?
All right, fine, tin pot. But I would like them to spend more money. I do think we should spend more money. But the results, there's no defending the results. And I've been there for pretty much all of them. So, yeah, long may that not continue.
I think that's a tin pot take. I'll be honest. Like, yeah, we spent a lot of money, but we're not really going to find out if that's been any good or not for a few years' time.
1-0 to tin pot, Izzy?
Right, Graham Potter. He became a bit of a figure of fun during his final days at Chelsea, and then Poch came in and was lauded when he came in. But if you actually look at the Prem records I've got here, Potter's Prem record, 22 games, 7 wins, 7 draws, 8 defeats, that's 28 points. And Poch's Prem record, 20 games, is 8 wins, 4 draws, 8 defeats, 28 points. So the take is Graham Potter is actually a better manager than Mauricio Pochettino.
That's a tin pot take. He's not proven at a big club. He came to one big club, Chelsea, flopped. Pochettino's managed at the highest level. He's managed the best player in world football, Messi. You've got to be all right to get to that stage. And, yeah, although his record's not as good as it should be, again, the circumstances, you've got to look at it. The players we brought in, the players that have gone, just need more time. So, yeah, that's a terrible take.
I think that's a dreadful take as well, tin pot. I actually didn't think Potter was that bad. I think they set him up to fail with the whole
It's
circumstances.
a poison challenge gig, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Emery at Arsenal,
But
Moyes at Man
Pochettino is definitely a better manager than Graham Potter. Like, it's not even a debate for me.
Nice
I think
one.
Chelsea needs to be given massive credit for the Graham Potter glow-up as well. This is my favourite.
Guy was getting like a couple of $100 haircuts, you know.
That trim, that beard.
Fresh
Wow.
fade, beard, he was looking good.
That was about the best thing that came out of Graham Potter.
The Potter glow
all I
was
can remember.
unbelievable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, 2-0 to tin pot. Number 3, Arsenal, West Ham and Spurs have all got bigger stadiums than Chelsea. They're all clubs who are moving in the right direction. They're all above Chelsea in the league. West Ham won a European Cup last season and Arsenal ran Manchester City close in the title race.
Interesting
and
trophy, that one.
You also, just quickly, you haven't beaten Brentford in 4 attempts and 3 of those have been home defeats. So the take is Chelsea are now the 5th biggest club in London and only the 2nd biggest in West London behind Brentford. More,
you're missing
or
a team
tin pot.
there.
No, don't worry, mate. We did the stats. More, or tin pot.
That's tin pot, isn't it? Where, like, do you want to come and see our Champions League trophies? The only place in London you can see them is at Chelsea. So, look, I get it. We're not doing that well at the moment, but to suggest that we're like other clubs are bigger than us. I mean, who's won anything else near us in London? No one. I mean, yeah, it's not looking great at the table there. I mean,
don't dismiss the Conference League, mate.
No, the Conference League. No, we'll give you that one. No, it's not even comparable. Like this biggest club in London, hands down. Yeah, we're having a little bit of a tough moment, but it's not even.
The West
comparable.
London thing's a funny thing because I feel like as a Fulham fan, when I was growing up, Chelsea were always kind of like the older brother with all the gadgets that you kind of slightly looked up to. But now it kind of feels like the older brother, still living at mum's house, a little bit stinky, and we're kind of catching up a bit,
Keep
you know?
borrowing money off mum and dad.
I'm not seeing Fulham there. Do we have
Just a little bit.
scroll down a little bit, yeah.
Touche.
Okay, so we're 3-0 to tin pot at the moment. Izzy, what we got?
Yeah, so want to talk about the captaincy at Chelsea. Obviously stripped legend and veteran Thiago Silva of the captain's armband last summer, and then made 23-year-old Reece James the captain with Ben Chilwell as his understudy. You know, some players feel like he's disrespected Silva, and obviously kind of Gallagher and Colwill leading the team instead now. Pochettino has said that Silva doesn't need an armband to be a leader. But the take is Pochettino has got the captaincy call completely wrong. Is that more or to tin pot?
That's such a tough one because I actually know why he's done it. He's done because Silva's not going to be there next season. He's probably going to go. So why would you want a captain that's just going to leave? You're going to build your squad around the players that you want to stay there. But then I completely get, actually, if I was in the dressing room, I would be thinking to myself, why is a player who's always injured, who's always, never available, why is he being given the captaincy? What's he going to do what's he going to do when he's with the doctor when I'm the one on the pitch? So I get what Poch is saying. I think that I think you have to look at both sides. Silva deserves the captaincy, but also from Poch's perspective, he's trying to build a squad. He's trying to bring players up as well. You've got to remember, when you're a young player, you're thrown in the deep end. So I actually think it's great for Colwell and Gallagher, their development, to actually have the opportunity to lead the team forward. But if I was in that dressing room, I would think he's taking the mick. So, yeah.
I think that's the thing.
I don't really know what to say to that.
Like, it's more
tricky.
When, all right, fair enough, Reece James and then saying Ben Chilwell's the deputy. The injuries thing's neither here nor there. It's not Poch's fault they get injured.
But everyone knows that James gets injured.
Yeah,
this
quite.
isn't rocket science.
But that doesn't mean he's not like captain material. But it's more like the awkwardness of, with the two of them out injured, James and Chilwell, it's almost like he's going out of his way to prove that point now. When you're giving the armband, Conor Gallagher, fair enough, he's one of your own and all that sort of thing. But when it's like you're giving it to Colwell, who's still relatively unknown, when he's playing alongside Thiago Silva, it's like, come on, fair enough doing it at the beginning of the season.
Thiago
He's proven
Silva's
a point.
Made over like 900 senior appearances.
Yeah.
So
That
it's
makes
just
sense. Yeah, I think in that
crazy.
case you would say that he's got it wrong.
I mean, I'm sort of on. If there was a middle category, I'd probably go in that. Like, I get why he's.
Sorry, not mate.
Yeah.
No middle category. But I get.
We spent
why.
hours on this.
I'll go in the more one then, because I do agree. Like, obviously, I can understand why Reece James has been made captain. He's gonna be here for a long time, hopefully. Silva is probably going to move on at the end of the season, so you can understand trying to plan something new. But then I look at it and I think, we know Reece James is injury prone. Like, it's useless having a captain that is just not available to play on the pitch. The captain's armband just being passed around like pass a parcel this season.
Right, number 5. Chelsea have spent more than £100 million each on Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. You then coughed up another 58 million quid on Romeo Lavia from Southampton. Just, it seemed, so Liverpool couldn't have him. Really, a little bit childish, but fair enough. And let's be honest, you could have had Declan Rice back if your club wasn't such a shambles at the moment. I know you like to think that you picked Caicedo over Declan Rice, but that deal was in the offing for a very long time. But despite all of that spend and the fact that you passed up on the opportunity to bring Declan Rice, one of England's best centre midfielders, back, you're still relying on one of your own, Conor Gallagher. 18 months ago, he was only good enough for Crystal Palace. Your fans can't really decide at the moment whether you love him or you hate him and you want him out of the club. So the take is, Conor Gallagher is the future of Chelsea and should be kept at all costs. More, or tin pot take.
For me, that's a tin pot one. I'll explain why. I like Conor Gallagher. I think he's been exceptional this season for us. You can see when he doesn't play what the midfield's missing. But what I would say is that I don't look at him as a big part of Chelsea's future going forwards. I think it's clear the players we've bought, the plan would be to have Enzo, Caicedo and Lavia as that midfield. I'm not saying that Gallagher can't be a squad player and can be useful. There's absolutely a place for him to come on in the last 15 or 20 minutes of games and to start a few games here and there. But if the take is for Gallagher is going to be a mainstay of Chelsea's future, for me, I don't see it.
He's not
think
an ex-captain, leader, legend then.
He's got our best stats. He's got the best stats in the midfield. But if you look at the stats, it's not very impressive if you look around you. But then what does that say about the money we spent on Caicedo, Enzo and Lavia? So I think for the moment, he is definitely a player to build the squad around because Pochettino loves him. There's obviously a reason that he wants to keep him and he's playing him every week. And when you see him on the pitch, actually embodies everything you want from a player. So in that sense, you would argue that that is what you want. But we're talking about quality here. That's why you sign Enzo and Caicedo and these other players, because you want ready-made players.
Yeah, you can't fault his effort, can you? It's just quality, I think.
Passion.
No, look, I do really like him, but
He's really good at clapping the away fans.
No, that was Mason Mount.
expected claps, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That was always one that did the rounds, yeah.
So that is 4-1 to Tim Pot. So we'll end it there.
Or to Tim Pot.
Thanks. So yeah, how are you guys feeling about the rest of the season?
I mean, I'm quietly confident. I thought we would do quite well to start off. I thought Champions League football was a given. Obviously, I was wrong in that sense. I think everyone knows that. But we're going to spend more money. I think we'll be very surprised if we don't spend more money. The owners have just put another 140 million into the club from what we've seen on the records. And we need ready-made players. If they have any common sense, they'll do it. I'm not saying Champions League, but I think European football is a given. And I think the way you see Arsenal slipping, Newcastle slipping, United don't look great either. There's no reason we can't climb up the table.
Right, before we go, we've designed an ingenious little challenge in partnership with McDelivery to sort the wheat from the chaff among our guests and find out who are the real goats of the fan networks. You up for it, lads?
Let's go.
That's right, this is the perfect delivery from our faves, McDonald's.
Right, gentlemen, in front of you is a bag of deflated size 3 footballs, a ridiculously small football pump. I've got a stopwatch and a whistle. All we need one of you to do, I think it's going to be you, Charlie, is pump up as many balls as you can in 45 seconds while giving as many answers as possible to the question Izzy is going to ask you. You get 5 points for every ball you pump up. You get 1 point for each correct answer you give. And what we've done, basically, the last couple of episodes, for anyone who's watching at home, they were 90 seconds. If anyone's wondering why they're no longer 90 seconds, frankly, it was just too long. So we made it a bit shorter.
Points is a little bit unfair there.
Aha, well, I'm glad you asked, Charlie, because the geniuses in the gallery are just going to put up the scoreboards there, and you'll see that the deluded gooner, CJ, has got a 22.5 score because that's been halved. They've been adjusted already. Tottenham fan Chris Cowlin at the bottom of the leaderboard at the moment with 8. So those are the 2 scores you've got to beat for the London bragging rights that really matter.
I can't lose to those.
You look nervous.
Yeah, I can't lose to Arsenal and Spurs. It'd be horrendous.
Get yourself down there then. Right, get the needle in the first ball when you're ready, Charlie. You've got 5. You've got 4. You've got 3, 2, 1.
Right, name as many of the most expensive players ever signed by Premier League clubs.
Jack Grealish, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Romelu Lukaku, Anthony, Jadon Sancho. Oh, it's not even in. Oh, no.
You said that a few times.
There we go.
Guardiola.
There we go.
Declan Rice.
You should just straight go with the questions.
Here we go.
I should have just hit the questions. That's done.
Yeah, that's one.
All right, that's one.
There will be a ball pressure check afterwards.
Go find the hole.
Right.
This is long.
I can't help you, Charlie. I can't help you.
You got only got 5 seconds to go.
Oh, I haven't helped anyone else.
4, 3.
Here we go, Charlie.
2,
Come on.
1.
That's done. Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah.
I do feel that the deluded gooner is never going to be beaten. You did, in fact, get 8 correct answers.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, for Chelsea Fan TV, goes second place in our leaderboard with a grand total of 18 points.
Hey, that's respectable, Charlie.
That's not bad. We'll take that. To be fair, I spent the first probably 20 seconds pumping a ball up that wasn't in properly. Yeah.
Absolute shambles. Just to think, I reckon one more, you could have been above the deluded gooner. But as it is, you go into second place.
Oh, it's respectable. It's respectable.
Yeah.
It's the effort that counts.
As long as we don't end up 10th.
I thought you guys were going to be in 10th.
Yeah. As long as we don't come 10th, I'm happy.
Right, that is it for the episode. Thank you so much, Alex Harris and Charlie Patrick from Chelsea Fan TV.
Well done, guys. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And thank you very much to you guys for tuning in. Make sure you come back here for the next episode and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Woo!